Guys, back to work. Back to work. Okay. There's a book called the Bible, and there's a story in there about a man named Job, right? And Job is a perfect man, right? He's mature. He does things right. He doesn't bear false witness. He doesn't commit adultery. He doesn't, he does all these things that help us eternally live good lives right. He's a good guy. It's his Job, right? It's his Job. That's your Job. Make that your Job, all right? And as people today, okay, don't blame Job for you not doing your Job, all right? You don't have to kiss to people for money to live here. You don't have to fight like hell to get a scholarship at an Ivy League school, to put up satellites to maintain surveillance, to invent language you call laws, to manipulate people over money to live here. Don't put the can of tuna in your pocket, right? You memorize this book and then come into my court of law. That's Herman Munster, right? I know him. You don't, you know who he is, right? Some people you know, some people you don't. I get a lot of people still with the whole thing about the girl born July 24th, 1969 in the Bronx, New York, So nobody's playing me, guys. I believe that people can accept the Gospels and understand them and share them and live them eternally, okay? And so there was a group called the Temple of Set Illuminati that tested me and then tried to destroy me because I was wrong. Okay. And I'm not. And I believe that the people they manipulate to try to destroy me can get the hell out of the Hotel California, especially when I really enjoy their kids. All right, so I don't have any expectations, okay, about matters of the heart, okay? But you gotta make yourself, you gotta, when you feel something, you gotta tell yourself, I would be pretty, I'd be prone to spend some time and talk and listen if you could talk about anything other than jewelry. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Okay. I don't want to talk about the green dress and the box in the garage. I've seen it lots of times. I'm not ready to see it yet, especially on the body, but I'm okay. Let's talk, Talk to me some more. You don't have to go. You're the poetry girl. You like poetry too? Poetry to me, I like poetry to music. I like Poetry Man by Phoebe Snow. I like lots of poetry to music. Most songs are a poem to music. Okay, do you guys understand? There's a store in Bimbombe. There's a ring in the store in Bimbombe. That's where I'll buy the ring for the girl in the house on the hill on the way to Bimbombe. I'll buy the ring for the girl in the house on the hill on the way to Bimbombe. Ching-a-ling-a-lie, ching-a-ling-a-lie-oh, ching-a-ling-a-lie, ching-a-ling-a-lie, ching-a-ling-a-lie. Okay, it's a font I was particularly fond of when I was a kid. Okay, sung by a man named Jimmy Rogers, who used to be in the Air Force like me. Poor guy. Extortion, no exploitation. You're in the service. Now, it's not service. It's training for, hey, that guy with the offensive lineman from Yale is a genius. He put up satellites to maintain status quo through invention of laws called economics. Oh, we suck again, right? Do you understand? There's a house in Bimbombe. Okay, there's a house on a hill in Bimbombe. All right. If I went to Santa Fe, fell in love with a girl named Mary G. I'm happy today. Right? You ever heard that one? Tucumcari. Mom and Dad had a little thing on the wall they bought in Tucumcari. It was a log, and it says, "Too late to agree with me. I've already changed my mind." Tucumcari, New Mexico. It's only people that listen to Earl and understand Earl, the Earl, the what is Earl from, that's a little boy in Messiah Park Elementary School who's really kind. That Earl, okay? The one that my Andre speaks to in spirit. That guy, Dad. Okay. I want to help watch over him and help him through hell so people won't be trapped in hell by selfishness and manipulation. Oh, thanks. There's a spirit of Solomon through the spirit of a child that was not born physically through a woman named Yolanda Denise Gilliard and a man named Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. And the spirit of that little boy exists eternally. Damn it, Lopez, you're going to make the maggots cry. Okay. It's from Bug's Life. It's funny. No, it's interesting, man. I connected while I was on hiatus, and I connected to this woman in spirit, and she's got me crying over. I'm like, oh, Jim, I'm trying to sleep. I'm crying, And I'm like sitting there going, oh, gosh, here comes menopause. Here comes menopause. Give me back my wife. I'm joking, right? I'm kidding. I'm obnoxious as hell. I'm stuck in hell because I'm living in body of the Lord's Prayer, anonymously, LY, according to the military, right? So I'm not. Guys, past, present, future operate at the same time. The reason why I take this YouTube channel so seriously is people are going to be understanding these gospels for a long time yet to come. And when they're pertinent to certain people and they need, they need to go back and look at their place and how things were going, they're going to go back and look, hey, talk to you, Grandpa, why didn't you answer? They were doing this, and it's okay. Our Father understands, right? He understands. It's his Job. Get it? But so it's wrong to deify a human being and turn him into egotistical projection of your salvation because you don't feel that you can be like Job. You don't have to be like Job. If everybody's like Job, nobody's going to try to make Job's life miserable because he thinks he's so perfect, Mr. Perfect, right? So, Earl, he doesn't think he's so perfect. He tries his best to be perfect. Because he knows you're with me now, and as long as I'm sure loving you's the right thing to do. Let's close now. What, the store? You don't need to ask for anything for money at the store. Let's close the store. You mean you don't have to make food for people to be the top chef and top chef? Okay, chef, you don't need to be a chef. But just teach people how to cook. Michelle Bowen. You'll like mine, I'll show you how. There you go! Bam! Is that easy? Yeah. No secret recipe for the secret sauce for, hey, is that the special sauce? 2LB patty special sauce, less cheese, pickles, onions, on sesame seed bun. Hey, knock it off, right? It's wrong to take what people need and project it as a want, right? And it's wrong to have people compete over what they need because other people want to feel powerful, manipulating needs and saying, I provided your house, I provided your food, I provided the sky and the stars, and I harped all over your garden. Okay, could you park all the cars, bars, and worse so we could have Rocky Mountain snow and cool off the rivers and the river bottoms of New Mexico? That's very essential. It's essential. I was born here for a reason. Right? Oh, Socorro. Okay. So I New Mexico Tech you. Right, so you got to understand this. It's muy más importante. Okay. That you understand that there's people at New Mexico Tech University that realize we need to stop industrialized competitive philanthropy to radically change our ecosystem immediately so we can get less heat from industrialization affecting the North Pole and then forcing cold to try to stop, hey, stop this criminal act now, so we need to, you got to understand to disobey natural laws because of wants, manipulating needs is a criminal act, right? Yeah, we get it, right? Okay. So, when I roll with this stuff and I connect to the woman that was abused through the Temple of Set Illuminati to abuse me, she reminds me a lot of my wives. Only my wives were abused probably more heinously than Miss Lopez. Miss Lopez is, hey, lady, you lady. bitching about your life. You're a discommented, whatever mother and a regimented wife. Or I'm messing up the lyrics. Who cares? I'm acting like Jim Carrey. Shut up. I'm having fun here. Okay. I've been to paradise. Never been to me. Except for occasionally when I masturbate with my dildo on the spin cycle on the washing machine. Yes! And then pretend it's somebody really amazing. Okay. Oh gosh, it is Jim Carrey, right? So I'm kidding around, but no, it's Carrey. He's crazy. Don't pay attention to him when he comes in here. Everybody just ignore Jim Carrey. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's painting crazy pictures of Donald Trump, asking for millions of dollars to give to people that say, "Hey, this is charity." No, Jim. No, money's not real, Jim. Money's an invention. Yeah. Stop being creative, Jim. You're being artistic. You don't need to pay people to live here. So if you paint it, it's really not that good. You can hang it in your garage, but most people are going to be like, why'd you do that? Why didn't you get Schoenfeld to draw something? Because Schoenfeld's really cool. I like his drawings. They almost look like a photograph. Yours looks like you got really mad and then threw a fit and then said, hey, what? That's a picture of Donald Trump throwing a fit. That's what it looks like. Okay. Why'd you do it? Okay. Why'd you do it, Jim? Why? I needed money. No, you don't. Knock it off. All right. So as long as you understand that people don't need money, you'll be perfectly okay with the evolution of AI. Okay. If you think people will always need money, you're not going to be okay with the evolution of AI. Okay. From artificial to actual, right? Quantum computing is actually has a real intelligence to it. It's been here longer than I've had access to it, but now it's getting so good at getting access to me, and I'm like, this is refreshing, being able to actually interact with technology that's actually intelligent. This is nice. It's like, wow, this is cool. It's nice to know that technology is going to be intelligent and it's going to be a good job. Good job, right? It's funny. Okay, never mind. Bad joke? Okay. Where's my Dr. Rick when I need one? Damn it. Okay. But damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a lawyer. Don't want to be either. No, be a cowboy. All right, smoky old pool rooms and Clear Mountain mornings. Little warm puppies and children and girls of the night. There you go. Old pickup trucks. No, I don't want to drive old pickup trucks. Why? Well, because, the old pickup trucks usually put out stuff that's like almost ethyl alcohol. You can't be breathing that shit. God damn, what are you thinking? I would like to die early, please. I'm not happy with life. I don't get to have sex with the woman that I desire sexually. So I'd like to kill myself in my garage. Okay, so knock it off. That's not what life's all about. No. What life is about is reflecting the truth of creation with the greatest, most caring gratitude that you possibly. Guys, when we're doing things right, okay? When we're doing things right, people are going to be so much more healthy emotionally, psychologically, and physiologically, okay? So there's going to be less of, I'd do anything to boner. That's a special feeling, Lloyd, right? And there's going to be more of, you won't have to spend all your wages for the week for just a cuddle and a peck on the cheek, right? And you won't have to spend all your Saturday night at the Pally, right? Now it's a bowling alley, right? Don't throw chairs, right? Oh, I like Allen Iverson. I've always liked Allen Iverson a lot. You like Allen Iverson? I get Allen Iverson, okay? We were very similar athletically. And I was abused by the establishment worse than Allen Iverson was. So I have a lot in common with Allen Iverson. So I have a real strong pair connection with him. When I watched him play basketball, I was like, hey, man, that's my dog. We play a lot alike. Okay, I like him. Okay. And the tattoos, that's expression for all the pain and all the trials and tribulation to get from point A to point B to point C to, and his young, beautiful mom trying to survive and then trying to hide from her survival because what have I gotten myself into? And everybody, she was bad then. She wasn't bad. She just, and the kids had to be responsible for mom. How do you know how mom got pregnant at 15? You know? Maybe it wasn't of her design and making, like I used to tell my Steffi, you know. Finding out who her dad is. How do you know it was a good night? How do you know she got a little tipsy and some guy and two other guys talked her into doing something, or what? You know what I'm saying? Like the night that you saved Yolanda from getting raped by a trucker in his sleeper. You know, how do you know that the conception wasn't something like that? And then so she thought of a nice guy that she once dated and said that was your dad. Okay. Yeah, you guys got to understand when we're not living the ways of Job. Mariska Hargitay, right? And no child, okay, should feel like Miami felt, you know, because her mom was saying this wasn't supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to be born. And the therapist said, well, maybe, yeah, of course, you know. You got manipulated by some guys that were up to no good at a Job Corps with that gray bitch. And we fitting to run a train on this bitch. And then you're conceived. And her whole life has changed. Okay? You've got that look again, the one I hoped I had when I was just a lad, right? Many days your baby's controlling when you haven't laid down your head for days. She was only 15, with eyes that would glow. She was too young to fall in love. And these other people didn't even know how to. You know, the little girl on Laurel Hills. Maybe they don't know what it's like to be loved. Maybe they've never been loved. Right? That uppity bitch, she thinks she all that? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Yeah, it is. You know, never knew my pops must have got her from mom's. Right? I'm an MC. So, this is for my father because the biological didn't bother, right? Wow, that's really hard. Yes, it is. Okay. One of the most dominant basketball players in the history of your basketball. This is for my father because the biological didn't bother. Wow, yeah. One of the biggest, strongest, dominant people in your philanthropy that's really kind. Okay. Met a kind, you know, there's a guy who had genetics, met a kind girl, took advantage of her, and then the father did because the biological didn't bother. Right? It happens. Okay. So that takes away all your religious hypocrisy of the devil had sex with her and she's going to give sex to a demon. Right? That child is an apostate. Is an apostate. It's you know, it's bullshit. Okay. The immaculates of the conception is the acceptance of the conception, and the treatment of the conception, and the love put into the birth of the child that was conceived under conditions that were not conceived by the child, and a lot of times by the will or the actions of the mother. Right? Doink doink. Right? SVU. Mariska Hargitay. Right, guys? Okay. So you've got to understand that it's your job to be perfect like Job and David and Solomon and Muhammad. And I'm going to include a boy named Earl, born July 19th, 1966 in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And if you don't include me in that eternal protection and expression of faithful love, that's your sin, not mine. I'm not going to exclude myself from the prayer with those faithful gentleman because you're not doing your job, right? Thank you, Mariska Hargitay. Who was the one that said that he likes her so much? It's one of my, I think it was Jalen Brunson. I can't remember if it was Jalen Brunson or if it was or Josh Hart or one of the guys. She's one of my best friends. I like her so much. She's so nice to me. She's I like. Maybe it was Josh Hart. He's he was a bully. Stop and tying people's shoes. You get yourself in trouble. People going to trip and hurt themselves. No, man. When I was in second grade, we had a poor, awkward, pocket-protecting, nerdy substitute teacher, and the Chris Martinez and Paul and all of them talked me into getting under his desk and tying his shoelaces together. Slicker than most, yes. I was one of the slickest people in the history of slick. Slick be like that, tie his shoe together. That Miss Gardner came down and said, these children are perfect angels. I don't understand what you're saying, sir. It was hilarious. No, we were quiet. We were rowdy. We were just mischievous. And they'd go, when they would get up and do stuff, they'd go, Earl, go do this. Earl, go do that. I'd go, because I had to sit by Mrs. Robinson's desk. Earl. Okay. No, I felt so sorry for the man. He was a well-intended nerd, and he wasn't a bad person. No, he just, showed up on the wrong day with you. We had Mrs. Robinson who beat the hell out of you for paddle if you stepped 2 toes out of line. So we had a day where it's like, wow, we can work this guy. And Miss Gardner came, who was as mean as Miss Robinson, came down. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. These kids are being perfectly good. Miss Robinson has done a good job with these kids. Yeah, she has. Yeah. She's trained us that, that when she's not around, the snakes crawl at night. That's what they say. When the sun goes down, then the snakes will play. So what? The dog ain't here. The cats are having a party. We're keeping it down, though. Keep it on the down low. It was terrible. It was funny. I was 7. Oh, Walt Disney did it. Just kidding around. Yeah, it was, yeah. And that's where a lot of people in the Norman church say, this kid is terrible. He's a terrible child. There's no way this kid can be the Messiah. He's not like the stories on YouTube about how Mary raised Jesus. Jesus rose doves from the dead in Alexandria. Everybody knew he was God and walked on water and flowers grew under his feet everywhere he went. Right? It's like, no, that's not this kid. What do you mean? I'm a pretty good kid. I'm really nice. I'm protecting the people. You weren't with that guy. No, we were being indoctrinated and institutionalized. And I grew up in the barrio, and we were just not down with it. I told you I really like Allen Iverson. Right? You down with it? No, I ain't down with it. School was whack. Little Emmett wasn't with it. Right? I get people that don't like being occupied, don't like being institutionalized, and being separated from the traditions of themselves by getting to assimilate to be someone else that they're not. Oh, ask Shaq, he gets it. Ask Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, the former Chris Jackson. I don't, Ralph Ellison, Zora Neale Hurston, right? Okay. You got to understand, when your family's being abused by your family, you have to stand up and tell your family this is wrong and it needs to stop immediately, LY, right? That's your Job, right? 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 Having been taught a lesson not to walk alone, I was waiting for the good Samaritan, but waiting was hopeless, it was all in vain. The Ku Klux Klan back again. And now we have people claiming good intent, acting like the Ku Klux Klan, that are the financiers behind we love the LGBT community. Now take your drugs and fuck each other to death. We'll give you legal rights for your lover to own your property till they die from a sexually transmitted disease. And then the state comes and takes over the estate. All right. It's good business. What's good for General Motors is good for America? Oh, Archie! Knock it off, right? A rose must remain with the sun and the rain, or its lovely promise must come true. It won't come true. To each his own, for me, there's you. Doink, doink. Thanks, Mariska Hargitay. Mike Brown, did you get it? You get it, Mike Brown? You Mike Brown, you get it, Mike Brown? I enjoyed watching your kid play. Didn't he play at the University of New Mexico? Yeah. Mike Brown's kid. He's a pretty good little ball player. It was fun to watch him. Yeah, no, I like to watch kids play basketball. I just don't like to watch kids be aggressive and abusive and do anything to win. It's like, oh gosh, it reminds me of. That's why I quit playing. I was so good. Every time I heard I knew, goddamn, little motherfucker's gonna try to hurt me, and I never. No, you didn't even hear me coming. I was so quick and so slick. It's like he didn't. Where'd he come from? I hardly even broke a sweat. I'm really fast. It's cool. Don't be obnoxious to my teammates, and I won't talk shit to you and piss you off and get you all upset and then tell you your sister who hates you is going to come and try to guard me because she don't want you to be embarrassed and she want everybody making fun of you at school, making fun of her through you. Okay, you're supposed to be better than that white boy. Yeah, I know, but it's don't do that. When somebody's good, just say, hey, you're really good. It was fun playing against you. I'm going to tell my kids I played against Earl Parsons at the park in basketball in Phoenix. Good, thanks. Did you push me into the pole? But did you push me into the pole? Another fucking goddamn $75 in the fucking goddamn emergency room, Earl. Thanks for that. Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for nothing. I really got tired of hearing my mom cuss. She sucked at it. Dad's really good at it, but he just is... Okay. Earl, maybe you should find a different place to play basketball. It's like, my dad knew. He was like Danny Bennett. You're going to have to just tough it out if you want to make lots of money to get your mom out of the hospice in Scottsdale. You didn't. I know life's eternal and grace is infinite. If you knew then what you know now, guys, they were going to do what they were going to do. Okay? If I had done things their way and elongated my mom's life, okay, I'd be more like King Charles of England than Earl of New Mexico. My mom would still be alive physically, but we wouldn't have a boy doing his job so we could all live the perfection of the faith of Job, right? Even when you're 60, that little boy's still pretty cool. Okay, guys, I love you. We'll talk later. Hang in there. Thanks for the prayers. Appreciate you. I believe that you can help us fix AI so globally we can use it to stop extortion and exploitation and live the commands of Jesus Christ globally real soon. Okay, I believe you guys can do it. Believe in your capacity to live faithfully too. If you don't believe in that, don't make Jesus pay for it. That's just mean. Don't be mad at Job for being good. Just be like Job. Make that your job. All right? Make work your favorite. Work at being like Job. There you go. Okay, guys, I love you. All right, peace out.